The last segment, you want to talk about news and stuff?
Hey
like
guys,
that?
welcome to On Point on
Sure.
YouTube. There's JP, Dr. B,
Right,
and
right.
I'm Callie. Today we're visiting the 5-part parenting series, part 2. We're discussing co-parenting and divorced parents. So, have fun.
We can do that. Messages, say Robin and
Do you think maybe they could put out a sign on the door, like coming in, saying "Be quiet, recording in progress"?
Well,
Or we're live.
they've got the
I know,
thing.
but that's on as soon as we come in here and the mics go on. That goes on.
the on air.
Yeah. So I guess people don't know if we're live or not.
30 seconds.
I sometimes wonder that myself.
Yeah.
Am I live or not? Depend on the morning.
Yeah. You sound good again today, Shravius.
Yep.
Oh, well, your mic's up. Sounds good.
Well, good morning, Dallas Fort Worth. It's JP and Dr. B, and I'll tell you what, it is Wednesday, the proverbial hump day as you're in your car and you're driving down the road. Just know that once you get past today, the slide is downhill from here to the weekend. Dr. B, what do you think about all that?
It's downhill, and it's going to be a great day, though. You know,
A great day. Hump day's always a great
Always
day.
a great day. That's right.
I mean, some people call it their grumpy day. Now with the release of the movie Krampus, it might be the Krampus day.
Yeah,
Krampus
it's
day.
the Krampus.
I still am a big believer, Dr. Bean. I think every 5-year-old should have to go see Krampus.
I don't agree.
I'm telling
That
you.
movie was so.
Have you seen it?
Yes. Me and Jake went and saw it, and we both were like, "What is this?"
Well, yeah. I should. Every 5-year-old
Listen,
should go see Krampus. Hey, I'm telling you what, though. Think about this, Dr. B. I mean, we're coming into an era of technology, really. I mean, we've been pushed towards technology for the last 20 years, 40 years, 50 years. The creation of the first big computer that took up an entire room. I get all that. But, I mean, when my niece can navigate the cell phone before she can read, and I'm not overstating that.
I believe you.
And can navigate the iPad before she can read. That we're in the era of technology, and kids are growing up with that.
When I was a kid, if you even said the word iPad, people would be like, "Excuse me? Like, what is an iPad?"
Yeah,
Like, they
did you
wouldn't
just
even
insult
know.
me?
Right.
Are you cussing at me?
I remember
Do you have an
a couple of years ago, my granddaughter. I have a picture of her. I don't know. She must have been 3, sitting, and she has her iPad in one hand and another electronic gadget in the other, and she's playing with both of them. And I'm thinking, what is the deal here? I didn't even know how to turn it on.
And now
So-
you have the same problem.
Yeah.
You're a double-fisted electronic device
Yes,
man.
I mean,
So what the basis of Krampus, of course, is, kid loses hope, gets angry, rejects Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
So the shadow of Santa, which is Krampus, comes to pay you a visit, right? And it's to kind of help you get straightened back out, right? Well, the whole family's dysfunctional, screwed up. Everybody's angry and mad, and so Krampus just kind of seizes your family. And here was the best part of it was the end of the movie. And so it's been long past now, so hopefully everybody's seen it if they're going to go see it. But I do recommend you see this movie because it's way interesting. But check this out. This is no joke. At the end of the movie, Krampus opens up a hole in the earth, and the symbology is, or the symbolism is, that you're looking straight down into hell.
Hmm.
And he starts throwing the family into hell. And the kid's begging him, "Hey, don't do this. You got to stop. You can't do this. You can't do this. It's my fault. I only tore the letter up, blah, blah, blah." And Krampus looks at him and goes, "Whatever," picks him up and throws him into the pit of hell. The message is pretty clear, I think. Behave yourself, mind your manners, be respectful, or you're going to hell.
That's horrible. You don't tell a 5-year-old
What?
that.
Why
You
not?
tell 5-year-olds to see this movie?
Well, maybe they would be scared.
Or Katarina.
Hey, parents aren't doing their job anymore, so maybe, just maybe, it might scare them into doing it right.
Oh, I like
Next
that.
graduate. Well, what I'm thinking is that New Directions Counseling and Education Center is about to be imploded with many, many parents and children because they're going to be messed up.
But I mean, think about it though. When I was a kid, and when you were a kid, we were scared to death.
That's right.
I mean, I didn't do it. I mean, I got in trouble. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't do anything wrong. Like I got in trouble. John, make sure you take the garbage out. Well, I didn't take the garbage out like when I was supposed to.
Yeah. Then it was, John, you have one chore. You can't even do that.
Well, no, I had multiple chores. See, that's the problem. See, this is this generation right here. She only has one chore. Dr. Bateman, I had to sweep and mop, dust, fold the laundry, take the garbage out, and do the dishes.
And walk to school uphill.
Uphill,
snow,
both ways.
Both
No
ways.
shoes.
No, I had shoes. I used cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about whipping you with a fan belt. But nonetheless, though, truly, we have become an era of where if you even think about disciplining your kid, we're calling Child Protective Services. Parents are afraid to discipline their kids. So I get that. And so that leads us into our conversation today, Dr. B. And not that everybody should be a Krampus, but bottom line is that, folks, today we are going to broach the subject of divorced parents or parents divorcing and how to co-parent and how to not allow your personal relationship disrupt the family relationship, because really they're two different relationships, wouldn't you say, Dr. B?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I want to emphasize, and we'll probably do so over and over this morning and through this series, is that particularly when we're talking about divorcing parents, you are divorcing another adult. You are not divorcing your children. It is imperative that both parents, stay involved with their kids at all times. In fact, one of the things that I would like to talk about at some point is this idea of parental alienation, where one parent talks so negatively about the other parent to the children. And, the children have a loyalty issue then. If I'm with my mother and she's talking negatively about my father, depending on my age, but especially if I'm under 12 probably, I'm going to be loyal to her at that moment because that's who I'm with. I'm dependent upon her. Or vice versa if I'm with dad. So we've got to stop that. Adults need to grow up, and if the relationship doesn't work, okay, that's sad, but let's not wreck the kids in the process.
Well, and it's not even just about let's not wreck the kids in the process. Let's not destroy everything that we've built in the process. I mean, you can get divorced and not tear everything down.
Absolutely.
Because really what you're doing is you're divorcing your spouse. You're not divorcing everything else that was a part of that relationship. And, I've met people who divorced that still get along and are friends today. In fact, they're current spouses. They all get together once a month or so. And that's, I think, probably the rare occasion, maybe, or not as common amongst folks that get divorced. But, if you could find some amicability, say that 3 times,
Yeah.
amicability out of your relationship, then I think you're better off for it anyways, and we are as a human race.
Well, absolutely. And our children are better because they know that they don't have to choose sides. They can love both parents, and they can depend on both parents to be there for them. That's the key. It's this idea of as you and I both have said now, it's the idea that we're not divorcing children, we're divorcing each other because we couldn't get along for whatever reason. Maybe we didn't try hard enough. I don't know. But still, let's take care of the kids.
Right, absolutely. Well, folks, I'll tell you what, we are talking today. Of course, Wednesdays are always our heavier day, and we talk our social family issues. And today we are talking, this is our second part of our 5-part parenting series, where we are discussing how divorced families continue to need to be good parents and co-parent their children and not allow the destruction of their personal relationship between the two of them disrupt their family relationship. And so you want to make sure you stay tuned for that, because we're just going to continue to get into that conversation. We're going to encourage you to call in at 214-787-1160. That's
214-787-1160.
so that we can continue to answer your questions as parents and as educators. I know that we've got several principals out there that are listening this morning. feel free to even shoot me a message on Facebook at John Edward Payton or at JP and Dr. B. Plus, we have all of our social media, Dr. B. We've got basically it's jpanddrb.com, Facebook, Twitter. Of course, I was corrected. This is also funny. I had this conversation the other day. I said the words pound because that's what it's supposed to be, right? It's
Right,
pound.
right.
I was corrected. No, that's hashtag. Now, what's interesting is I was talking about something where pound would have been appropriate, and like pound 123 versus hashtag at whatever.
Did a kid correct you?
Oh yeah, kid corrected me and told me, no, there's no such thing as pound. It's hashtag, and I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. You need Krampus to come into your life. So, folks, stay tuned as we go through that. And don't forget the magic word this week is plain.
Plain.
And we call in at?
214-787-1160.
That's 214-787-1160. Be the 10th caller on Thursday at 6:28 a.m. for a family 4-pack from Legoland. We love the folks over at Legoland. They have been so warm and so welcoming for our show to allow us to give away as many family 4-packs as we've been able to give away. So stay tuned. We are 6:20 a.m. KEXB with you in your morning drive. Let's talk a little bit about Powerball coming up.
At the end?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think that's about. I'm going to go. In fact, I've gotten in with a couple people, and we're buying $100 worth of tickets. I'm going to buy 50. He's going to buy 50, and we're going to put them together.
If you win, can I have like 1 million of it? Like literally, that would be a penny to you.
You'll have to start your own nonprofit so I can tax deduct it.
Fine.
We can do that, huh?
So, anyways, truly though, there's a frenzy going on.
Oh. Absolutely. Yeah. That'd be fun to talk about. And by the way, if I win tonight, I will not be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will. I'll buy the station.
I'm glad. I will say I knew her win. Oh, if you win, can I have $1 million?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, sweet.
Taxes are already taken out of it, though. I thought.
Well, no, yeah, but you still.
You still have to pay.
Well, you've got to pay taxes. Then you got to pay the investment person that you talk to.
Reuters is still doing the
But
video.
how can you trust? How do you know that you can trust anyone when you win the lottery?
And you should have had a relationship before. I can tell you who to trust. Trust me, Callie. Just
Okay.
let me invest. You will. I'll leave you with a little bit.
What makes the Spectrum Triple Play so smart? It features the fastest internet.
$1.5 billion.
Yeah.
With a free internet load and bandwidth to support all those smart devices in your home.
No, I would want more than 1 million if you won. If you had $1.5 billion, I'd be like, can I have like 5?
Yeah, but I'm not going to walk away with it.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Yeah, it's only what, 800,000 or something like that you actually get cash.
You mean 800 million?
Yeah, 800 million.
Yeah.
What did I say? 1,000?
Yeah. I was like, no, surely not.
No.
It's so funny.
How much?
400 million. Gosh, I'd be broke. Why would they take that much away? What? 1 billion? Yeah. Yeah. I would go bankrupt. I'm joking. Oh my gosh. That's too much money.
I'm sorry.
One of these days, we're gonna
Shanaris,
match.
I am going to win tonight.
We're gonna end up matching the nation's debt, and then we wonder why we're in debt. Probably because you're giving away all this money for nothing. Oh yeah? Oh really? Huh. Yeah. So they take the money from those earnings?
All right, we're queued up.
Yeah.
I've got a little news clip we can play.
Oh, okay.
I'm an advocate for, instead of having all of these, 10 million or whatever, give 10 people $1 million rather than just one person.
Right, yeah.
spread the wealth.
Spread the wealth.
We're going to count on that. Thank you.
5 million? Aw! That's a huge wedding.
That's a huge wedding.
No. Not 5 million worth.
Hey, if you win the Powerball and I'm doing your marriage, you're paying for it.
What? What did you say?
He said if you win the Powerball, he's doing your wedding and you're paying for it.
That's fine.
Boy, I'll tell you what, folks. Welcome back to JP and Dr. B. Stretch to good old Frank Sinatra. I tell you, oh, Dr. B, it's early in the morning, but Frank helps you climb out of bed, get that phone turned on so you can listen to JP and Dr. B while you're brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, getting dressed there at the vanity. I'll tell you what, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us for your first cup of coffee this morning. We are talking parenting. This is our parenting series on Wednesdays, and sadly, Mike Curran couldn't be in this morning. He's going to join us probably next Wednesday. He had something that came up early this morning, and so we'll be excited to get him on and get his take on his wisdom. You know, when you're an attorney and you're practicing law for over 20 years in the family law system, Dr. B, you have a tendency to see a lot of divorce. And today we are talking co-parenting in a divorce-type relationship. So, Dr. Bateman, could you please clarify for us or define for us what is co-parenting and what is divorce?
Well, divorce is a result of incompatibility, breaking of trust, lots of other reasons, but a divorce is the splitting up of the couple. Typically thought of in the legal marriage relationship, but you know, it can happen even in a cohabiting relationship that's been long term. And co-parenting is both parents having an active part in their child's life, even though they're no longer living in the home with the child. More frequently, even today, than what it is that the child will be left with the mother and the father will be raising the child. Now that's changing some. More fathers are getting custody, and that's important, I think. But it is co-parenting is when both have the opportunity to interact with their child on a regular basis, have some input about what happens to the child. You know, like medically, psychologically, they have access to the school records. They know what's going on with their child. There is no excuse, in my opinion, for two parents whose child is, say, in a school program, sporting event or something that they're playing in. There's no excuse for both parents not being able to be in the same gym or auditorium supporting their child, even if they are angry with each other. It's not about them at that point, it's about the child. But there's some things that I have suggestions for parents who are divorced and who are going to do some co-parenting. And these are pretty normal things that I hear a lot in my office at counseling. But first one is quit bad-mouthing your ex. You know, he or she just
especially in front of the kids.
Especially in front of the kids. And kids are constantly listening. I hear people, sometimes the child will tell me something that they have heard about their mother or father, and I will confront the parent about this, and they'll say, well, no, I didn't say that in front of him. I was talking to my sister, to my friend on the phone, and it's like, so the child doesn't listen? Of course they do.
Absolutely. And the sad thing is that impacts them way bad. Like, kids get angry over this stuff.
Sure.
I pull from my 25 years of wisdom, and how many years have you got doing this? 30 years?
Yes, a little bit over 30 years.
Yeah. And I have yet to meet a kiddo that when their family divorces young, and they do this infighting, and they do this talking badly about their spouses, I rarely see a kid not angry about it, and they all remember. Like, none of them have forgotten that.
No, they remember, and there's a fear that goes along with that, is that if my mother or father can be that angry with my other parent, you know what, they could be that angry with me, and what if they abandon me? You know, one of the biggest things in raising children effectively is attachment anyway, and if we don't have good attachment with the parents, the child's going to have trouble. and we've given too many opportunities. We've been so involved as adults that many times we haven't taken the time to have the real attachment. So, don't badmouth. Don't use your children as spies. This is another thing. I've had kids tell me, and you probably have too in court, I've had kids come up to me and say, every time I go back from Dad's, Mom wants to know what did we do and who was there and what was going on and did he say this, and that's not appropriate.
No, not at all. I mean, and what it is that your kids resent you, and you're gonna make you pay for it later on.
Sooner or later, yeah.
I mean, and they'll start self-medicating. One of the other things that I have found, Dr. B, is in relationships like that where they go divorce and they don't co-parent well, and they use the kiddo as a spy, or they talk poorly about the spouse in front of the other spouse, or in front of their children. I find that the kids, by the time they become teenagers, and some of them early middle school, will start self-medicating with marijuana to try and ease that and dummy it down and not have that feeling anymore.
Right. Anything to take away that negative feeling that's inside of them, and they don't know what to do about it. So the other thing, about bad-mouthing your ex is that you're right. Sooner or later, that can come back on you. A parent who has sole custody of their child, maybe they make it inconvenient for the absent parent, so to speak, to have connection with them. And that parent who negatively talks about we'll say a mother who's negatively talking about the father, and the child sides with the mother, but you're right, when he or she gets to be a teenager, they often will go to the other side, meaning that they will make a relationship with the other parent because they find out that not everything mom or dad was saying about the other was true.
Well, and I can tell you from experience, I'm a parent of a child who went through a divorce, and her dad lives up in Seattle, Washington, and very interestingly, he would tell her that he was calling all the time, and that we would not let her have the phone. And so that spurred us when she was 8, 9 years old, which I was completely against because I didn't think kids needed cell phones. We got her one of those green cell phones that had the 4 buttons on it, and you could program in, I think, 3 or 4 phone numbers, and that's all that could call in and call out. So we set that system up to where she would have her own phone where he could call, where he couldn't claim anymore. So when we took away that, guess what? It then became, well, your phone must not be working because I'm calling you on a daily basis. And so sadly, I sat down with a 9-year-old and I brought up the cell phone account to show there were no incoming calls with that number.
Well, and this is one of the issues in divorce. Sometimes you do have just irresponsible parents who refuse to stay involved, who make excuses for why they have not been involved, why they can't be involved. I think that's becoming, or at least I'm hoping that's becoming more the exception than the rule. As parents are staying involved in the co-parenting, the courts now are ordering a parent facilitator a lot of times to get the couple to work on their co-parenting, to make sure that there's some things in place and some ways to work out if they have a difficulty. One of the people I met recently, Sharon Easley, who is an attorney, she works on a mediation project and helping couples divorce. And one of her goals is, at least in my understanding of talking to her, one of her goals is to help the parents to come apart in a organized and way that they're not trying to hurt each other and not trying to hurt the kids. So, in thinking about ways to help, give your child permission to love the other parent.
Right. Yeah. And that was the one thing I made sure of, is that my daughter never, ever understood or felt the way I knew or felt about her dad, and the way he was acting and lying to her. I didn't say, well, your dad's lying. I never said that. I would just say, well, you know what? Why don't you call him? Or let's get you a cell phone. That way he has access to get a hold of you. Well, he says, and this at 9 years old, it became, I couldn't believe how confrontational it became, where I was being charged basically by my 9-year-old that I was not allowing her dad to talk to her.
Well, sure, that's what her dad told her.
Yeah.
And so you must be the bad guy. So I think it was important for you to sit down with her and say, look, this is not what's happening, and encouraging her to call. Now, whether she called or not, it was no longer your responsibility.
Right.
But getting her to call and getting her to understand that you weren't the bad guy. I can only imagine when her father may have called and may have talked to her what he also may have implied or said directly about you.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't any good at any time. What's funny is that Katerina knew better, and when she became 14, 15, and he still didn't call, and she had a full functional cell phone at that time,
Yeah.
and he still didn't call, she realized, you know what, he's never called like he says he has. You know, I hear from him about once every 60 days. You know, and then of course she goes through, and this is, you know, this is a very interesting, I've got to watch this diagram out for the last 4 years. Not even gotten her a Christmas present or a birthday present. But yet, he loves her and he tells her he loves her, and I'm sure he does, but.
And you're the bad guy.
Well, of course, don't let other people, his comment is, don't let others convince you that I don't love you. Well, we don't.
Yeah,
Your
that's
relationship is between you and her. That has nothing to do with me.
Well, exactly, and in fact, in the case where a couple has remarried, or one of them has remarried, we want them to love the other parent. You know,
Right.
That's the goal. It's not. We want them to be happy, as hopefully we are happy in the new relationship.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. B, I'm going to throw a twist at you in the next segment. Of course, we're going to come back. We're going to have weather with Callie and let you know what your daytime weather is going to be. Also, maybe start giving you a look into the weekend forecast. I have a feeling from what Callie is telling me, we are not talking Palm Springs here.
No.
We're going to be talking showers, I think. Also, when we come back, we're going to talk with Lori and get her inspirational thought for the day. And then, Dr. B, here's the twist. You know, how does it affect you at work? You know, this divorcing
yes.
stuff and the kids, oh man, there's no doubt. There's a huge impact
doubt.
at work and how it impacts the business world. And so we want to talk about that, Dr. B, and, you know, what kind of things that you do to counsel these people so they don't lose their jobs or get fired as a result of their divorce bleeding over into their workplace. So stay tuned as we figure out how to use strategies to help you not get fired if you find yourself in this situation. And I promise you the relationship will carry over, and I'll share some examples as well that I have learned from the jail. Yes, I said the jail. You are tuned in to 620 AM KEXB. I mean, we're talking, you know, stalking ex-husbands, emergency protective orders, them going to their spouse's work, following them, claiming they're having affairs with their bosses.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I've got to be careful what I say because I have clients like that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know, that have done stupid things.
I don't think they can hear you.
I had a client that had recently, last year, I think about the middle of the year, went to his wife's workplace. She was having an affair. Put a gun to her head.
Oh, that's more brilliant.
Wanted to know who it was. And then threatened to kill the guy. And he didn't. You know, he was arrested and put in Green Oaks. I'm sorry, but there's no woman in the world worth that.
There's not.
No offense, man.
No.
And there's no man worth that.
No,
either,
there's
you know,
not.
Okay, so would it hurt? Absolutely. Be
We have quite a few
devastating.
people tuned in, by the way, that are hitting our Facebook page. We've had 10 people just hit the Facebook page.
Okay.
And I'm told, here's what I'm told, is that take whatever has hit your Facebook page and multiply it depending on how many friends you have on your list, you know,
Yeah.
multiply it between 20 and 50 times. And that's how many people are actually watching and paying attention, but don't pipe in.
Mm.
And I can tell you that from my experience, Ken, I'll be walking in the grocery store, people will stop me. Hey JP, I'm on your Facebook page. I love watching your weight loss. Da 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 da. I don't pipe in, but know that I'm watching, and you've inspired me. And I'm even going and watching your recipes on YouTube. But please don't stop. You're such an inspiration to me. I mean, I'm talking like in the last week, 10 people.
Yeah.
Have told me that. Scott Jones piped in on my Facebook page and he said, JP, don't stop posting this stuff. He says, you don't know. There are thousands of people that are watching your post that are not saying anything.
Yeah, a lot of people, do they still use the term lurking,
Yeah.
Kelly? Lurking on the internet or, watching, that never call in, never say anything.
Well, I've almost hit. I think I'm 1,000 friends away from maxing out on friends that I can have.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, this apartment thing,
Mm-hmm.
I've picked up 10, 15, 20
Yeah.
followers on Facebook.
Me
I don't know about Twitter, but
We should.
and Justin's going to come on next week and tell us what's going on with the lawsuit because he is filing a lawsuit on their behalf. Yeah, he's going to have a meeting. In fact, he'll be in studio with us next week to talk about it. Yeah. My guess is going to be probably about 20 people. You mean like call Channel 4 or Channel 8? Okay.
It would be good.
Yeah, I need to meet with Mark. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to JP and Dr. B. When you hear the strumming of the electric guitar, I'll tell you, it means we've hit the 6:30 mark and we're waking up and our first cup of coffee is down by now generally. We've got our hair up in a ponytail, or by golly, we've got the part going down the middle and we're ready to fire up our day.
That is
Your ball, I forgot. Okay,
I
or
was going
we're,
to say that's for those who have hair.
or what do they call it? Brillo cream? Is that what bald people use, is Brillo cream?
What? Yeah.
Oh, is that too old? Did I just go too old school on everybody? Or Brill cream? Was it Brill cream?
Action Jackson, what in the world is he talking about? I mean.
Brill cream. Wasn't
Yeah.
it Brill cream? I can't remember.
This
If
generation.
you're a principal out there, or a parent or educator, or someone that is in the law and want to ask a question to Dr. B or myself in regards to divorcing, if you're in business and you're a manager and you're having employees go through this and you're wanting some help on how do I manage this situation in my office so it doesn't create more drama and take away from the workplace, call in 214-787-1160
214-787-1160.
and shoot your questions our way. We might be able to help you smooth things out at your workplace. We're going to have some examples for you here in just a minute, but I want to do a quick hello to some folks that are out there listening this morning. Thank you for piping in onto our Facebook page. Kevin Nix, good morning, down in Liberty Hill, Texas. Andrew White, Jennifer Smith, good morning. Sarah Bennett out of Philadelphia is piping in with us this morning. Lindsay out of Austria has piped in with us this morning. Francois out of Canada has tuned in. So again, Dr. B, I'm telling you, we have gone across the borders. I'm excited. Faye Curtis, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Heidi Holguin, David Perrell, John Johnston, Melanie Millam, Catherine Hartman, Barbara Villanueva down in South Texas, Martha Clark, and Matt Sipes. Oh, and congratulations to Matt Sipes. He's on our Facebook page. They just had a baby.
Well, congratulations.
I know. He joins William over at Krispy Kreme. We just had little Jeremiah, so that's pretty exciting as well. But I also want to say a special hello to Emily Bowers out there. Emily has just gone through a stem cell transplant to help fight her MS, and for the first time in many years, she is up walking, and she goes, the other day I crossed my legs and I didn't even know I did it. And she has shared that story on Facebook, and so Emily, she says she's listening this morning. So Emily, thank you so much for tuning in, and by golly, continue your success.
Keep flying the plane.
That's right. Keep
There you
flying the
go.
plane. That's exactly right. That is fantastic. Well, folks, it is time for your on-point weather with Callie. Callie, what are we looking at in the Metroplex?
Well, leaving the house this morning, it's 40 degrees with a 79% chance of rain. Midday is going to be in the mid-60s with a 45% chance of rain, and as you turn in for the night, it's in the low 50s with a 65% chance of rain. Taking a look into the weekend weather, Saturday is 46 degrees, cloudy with a light rain developing later in the day. Sunday is going to be a little warmer at 58 degrees. but it's sunny, so no rain in the forecast for Sunday. I'm Callie. Your On Point Weather is sponsored by Krispy Kreme and Allen.
That's right, on Main Street in 75. And again, William is a manager there, and he just had a little baby boy. So congratulations, William. Well, folks, we are sitting here, we are talking about co-parenting and divorce, and wanted to kind of throw this at you in regards to, Dr. B, how on earth do we keep this thing out of the workplace and not lose our job?
Well, it must stay out of the workplace, and although, again, I admit that it does affect us wherever we are. But you know, we need to keep some emotional regulation for ourselves. That is, we need to take care of the work that has to be done. If I lose my job, how am I going to be able to support my child? How am I going to be an example to him or to her? I hear people sometimes that get so riled up, and you know, you read it in the paper every year at some point of somebody going to a place and you know, confronting someone because they're upset about the relationship. That's not the place for that, obviously, and especially with threat of violence. Don't go to your ex or about to be ex-spouse's workplace and make a scene. You will embarrass them. You might cause them to lose their job, which will then perhaps mean you're going to be having to take even more responsibility financially and other ways. And so you just don't do that. You don't threaten people. Our job is our job. In fact, I'm thinking about a couple that I worked with some time ago, and they were in a pretty severe battle. But one of the things that the lady, the wife, told me is that she found work as a way of almost sanctuary. She went to work, and it was where she was able to get her mind off of her personal problems, focus on her work, and do her job. If we're so focused on what's going on in our own personal life that we can't do our work, then maybe we need to talk about, is there a way to take a few days off or a week off?
Well, and let's throw this at you, Dr. B. Okay, so here we're not co-parenting well. We're in the divorce. Our child is suffering, and the child's 9 or 10 years old. And of course, people are going to say, no, this doesn't happen. He doesn't come home from school, and you're at work, and your co-parent, which is not doing a very good job, calls you at work, disrupts your work environment, and to tell you that, hey, guess what? Your son didn't come home after school today, and we don't know where he's at. You know, to avoid that, what do you recommend?
Well, first of all, is there some reason that the co-parent needs to know that immediately? I mean, we think that the kid has not done this before, he's not been angry, wasn't defiant, we're not worried about him running away, then you don't need to call immediately. You need to take other actions. You go and look for him. You call friends. And of course, that's supposing that you know who his or her friends are, but you talk to them. Now, if the child has gone extensive time, hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, depending on the age of the child, then you might want to call the parent just to say, hey, I'm concerned. Tommy hasn't come home, and I'm not sure where he is. Do you have any idea? If they live close enough, which I find a lot of couples are doing more, of living in the same neighborhoods, so that they can take the kids to school when they're with them, you know, which is a good thing. And sometimes the child may go over to the other parent's home. But again, if you call and disturb the parent who is working, and you know, and then 5 minutes later Johnny comes in the door and says, well, Mom, I told you I was staying for tutoring. Then he or she has disrupted the other parent, caused them to get focus off of their work and not accomplish what they need to accomplish at work.
Yeah, so that's that overreaction. You know, you got to keep your head to yourself and don't try to disrupt. Because if both of you lose your job, how are you going to take care of your kids?
That's right.
And so you can't afford to lose your job, right, Dr. B?
Well, you can't, and you know, if you both lose your job, God forbid, but you might have to move back in together.
Oh boy, wouldn't that be something? I'll tell you what. You know, and folks, to compound this, I can't tell you how many times we've had spouses that I've had in the jail that are going through separation, going through divorce, and the one spouse, whether it be female or male, can't let up, and they'll go to the other person's place of employment because that's the only place they can corner them. and try to win them back. If they can't win them back, they get angry, Dr. B. I've had people threaten to kill them. I've had spouses threaten to kill the other spouse's boss right there in their workplace. I'd have the police show up at the workplace, cart them off. Then I issue an emergency protective order against them. All of a sudden, now we've got legal battles on top of the divorce battle, on top of the children having to fade this because now they're wondering, why can't we see mom or dad? Well, because there's an emergency protective order because your mom or dad came to my workplace today and tried to kill me or threatened to kill me. And then your boss says, hey, you know what? I'm trying to run a business here, not a social playground, and you're fired.
Well, and when they come to the business, you not only disrupt the spouse, but everybody. I mean, I'm going to tell you, if somebody comes into my office and threatens, a spouse or me with a gun, that's going to affect the entire office.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to. I can imagine that everybody's going to evacuate the building.
Right.
They're not going to want to be there.
Well, when we come back, folks, we're going to ask Dr. B to give us 2 basic tips as we get ready to go through a divorce and we have children that we can avoid poor co-parenting and possible disruption of our child's life more so than what's actually going to happen. And then we're going to talk about the Powerball. Dr. B, Powerball is tonight. Callie?
$1.5 billion with a
$1 billion. I'll tell you what, folks, you can become an instant billionaire. If after taxes, probably 100 millionaire or something like that. That's a problem.
I think
know.
it's like 400 million, right, Action?
Yeah, no, it's more than that. No, it's far more than that. It's going to be like $900 million when it's all said and done after you pay your taxes. But that's beside the point. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Powerball and the Powerball frenzy that goes with it. And are you going to be able to get your ticket? Because the line may be so long. So stay tuned. We are JP and Dr. B and Callie at 6:20 a.m. KEXP. No, I was reading last night. It's $900 million after taxes. Do what? Well, no, we're not supposed to go to break till 6:43. It's 6:42:35. What? Oh, do you want to go to break at 42? Can we do that? Because I was wondering if we could do that. Right. Well, okay, so, but my question is, so we can do, because I'd like to cut our first segment. I'd like to do like 6:02 to like 6:09 so that I have more time between, I'd rather have less time at the beginning of the show and use that kind of as an introductory deal where we introduce the show, have like this morning, I liked our conversation this morning about Krampus and then rolling into the topic area, I thought it was more casual that way.
So for like 6 minutes, we just kind of have like host chat, and then after the
Right.
first commercial, then we really start the show.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Well, yeah. That's not a worry, but I didn't know we could do that though. I thought we had to go at 6:43. Okay. We can fudge around. Okay. I'm good then. Sharavius. No, hold on. Sharavius, if you'll just communicate with me better, Sharavius. Action Jackson, communicate with me. Action. Oh, action, you're not communicating. Is that someone calling you? I'm glad you pointed though. We're going to do a violation?
We just can't go into the okay.
Can you hear the stuff in the queue if I play this? No, but if I push play, can you hear it? Okay, hold on. Can I play I was going to play this piece from the news, but oops, it may have reset.
Looks
Yeah, damn commercial.
Which means 1 out of 4
Hold on a
satellite
second.
subscribers could experience an outage.
So
Get
what?
Spectrum TV.
Okay, tell me what can't we say about the Powerball? I mean, I can tell people.
Well, of course, it's hard to believe, but that Powerball jackpot now at 1.5.
I love seeing him run like that.
We can't
Action
talk about the
Jackson is
Powerball?
running back and forth during
That's
the commercial
news.
break.
Yeah,
I mean, I know
They
we're not
talked
supposed.
about it on KSES yesterday.
We're not supposed to talk about alcohol, gun sale, or no alcohol, pornography,
Well, I mean,
tobacco, or gambling. But I mean, this is news. It's 1.5 billion. It's the largest jackpot ever.
yeah,
We're not telling people to go buy tickets.
yeah, it's going on.
Okay,
So
so
what?
we can talk about whatever.
What? Well, what can't I
about
say?
the lottery.
Okay. Well, folks, welcome back to JP and Dr. B. I'll tell you what, we're pretty darn excited here in studio as we are helping folks out, hopefully, that have gone through a divorce, getting ready to go through a divorce, and better learn how to co-parent. Also, the impacts it can have on your workplace and your business, including your job. But before we go any further, let's inspire you, because sometimes this conversation can be kind of a downer Dave conversation there, Dr. B.
It can be.
You know.
We need that inspiration.
We do. So we're going to do The Choice As Always Is Yours by Lori. Of course, that's brought to you by All Smiles Dentistry. They have served Allen residents for 15 years and the official team dentist for the Allen Americans hockey team the last 7 years. All Smiles can help you identify and prioritize your dental problems early, maximizing your dental benefit. Call 972-747-1996. That's 972-747-1996. And visit their Facebook page at All Smiles Dentistry Allen. And so, folks, as we promised, we love to be able to provide you with a little bit of inspiration on your commute in or as you're getting ready for work. So, the choice as always is yours. Well, I'll tell you what, Dr. B, that says it all right there.
It does.
I mean, she's
It
right.
does.
I mean, give yourself that freedom. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, Dr. B, 2 quick points on what it is that we can do to help be better co-parents.
Well, first of all, I do want to make a comment regarding your info about this can be a down. You know, the truth of the matter is if we plan well in regards to our divorce and our co-parenting, it actually can be a very positive thing. We can see the light and enjoy. So here's a couple of things that I think. One is commit to making co-parenting an open dialogue with your ex. That you're going to determine, listen, we loved each other at one point, we had this child together, we're going to make an open dialogue where we can talk together about the best interest of our child. And then work on agreeing what the rules are and try to see if you can't get an agreement that the rules are going to be very similar at both homes. It helps the child to adjust to having 2 homes now instead of 1. If the rules can be very similar, they may not be exact, but if they can be similar, it will help. And because they want to know that it's going to be pretty common at both homes.
So what's the second suggestion you can make, Dr. B?
Well, recognize that the co-parenting plan is going to challenge you. We're talking
Right.
about it like it's going to be good, but I just want to be honest and say, it is going to be a challenge, and there are going to be times when we let our own will get in the way, and we kind of push and say, but I want it my way, and that's probably part of the problem of the divorce in the beginning. So understand that it's not going to be easy. work on the open dialogue, and work on being reasonable yourself. Would I tell another friend to do this, or would I suggest to them that they might take a more responsible adult behavior? Act as an adult.
But understand there could be challenges. I mean, don't think this is going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect.
It's not going to be perfect. The whole divorce process is not perfect, and it brings about its own challenges and opportunities. So understand that's going to be the case. And our emotions are involved in a relationship, and our emotions, and we want the best for our children, but make sure that when we're talking about the emotions of disgust or whatever, that they're not about ourself or the ex. That we keep in mind the children and what's important for them. That's the main thing. But agreeing on positive boundaries and rules that are going to go back and forth. You know, there are some families that are doing the nesting, which is a great idea in theory anyways. The nesting is when the child stays in their home and the parents alternate. So if it's my week to be with my child, then I'm at the house. When it's not my week, I move out to an apartment or with a friend or something.
Sounds good. I'll tell you what, folks. So, you know, today I think we've really gotten it pretty well down, and we've given you a lot of good information in regards to co-parenting, especially as you go through a divorce, and don't run your children through that deal. Also, if you are a manager in a business or own a company and you're having to go through this with your employees, I think we've gotten you some pretty solid advice in regards to how to maybe help your employee through that. I would always encourage you to encourage your employee to use the company health plan in regards to counseling, maybe some classes. If you don't have anything that you're connected with, you could always get with our very own Dr. B at New Directions. He could help your company out. Come in and do some parenting classes, or come in and do some counseling for some of your folks that may be going through this, so it doesn't impact your workplace and take away from your bottom line, which is your profit margin, so you can keep paying other employees in the company.
Absolutely, and sometimes it only takes a session or two or a class, and people kind of get some new ideas, ways, and maybe they're not even new, they just hadn't thought about them because they've been so involved with their own issues, and this will open up. So yeah, seek help. You can seek help from clergy, you can seek help from counselors, marriage and family therapists, etc. Be careful though about who you do talk to. Because, you know, if I'm talking to a family friend or a family member, if I'm talking to my parents about my ex, they're, no matter how bad I've been, they're probably going to side with me.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, how very interesting. Of course, you know, and of course, folks, in the news and in consuming the news, Dr. B. Kelly, consuming it is this Powerball jackpot. I mean, it has gotten crazy, and we've got this clip from up in Massachusetts. It's very interesting how this thing has really struck the news. So listen to this. Boy, Dr. B, I'll tell you what, $1.5 billion jack. I mean, and Dr. B, there's all kinds of things that go on with that, right? I mean, why would you put yourself in that emotional roller coaster? I mean, gambling, first of all, is not good anyways. It's like you're taking good money and throwing it away. But why on earth? But it's to consume the news.
It has consumed the news, and it's because of the dream. Everybody has the dream. And if you talk to almost anybody and say, what would you do if you won? They'll begin to rattle off a litany.
I quit my job. You wouldn't see me tomorrow.
Yeah. Like I told you earlier, if I win the lottery, of course I have to buy a ticket first. But if I do decide to buy a ticket, and if I do win, I won't be here tomorrow morning.
And I think that's everybody's kind of deal. You know, it's been kind of interesting. You know, some other things in the news. The Illinois lottery is in the news. How about this? And action, check this out. What if you can't afford to pay your winners? What do you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what the Illinois State Lottery does? They give you an IOU.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, I'm not kidding. Anybody that wins over $50,000, gets an IOU because they've bankrupted the lottery. Now,
Oh my
what are we teaching people? You know, I thought if you don't have it, you don't buy it, right? You don't go into debt, right?
Well, that's a good idea, but unfortunately, that's not what everybody does. But you know, you were talking about the emotional aspect of this. I heard on the news on the way over here, actually, that, and I don't remember where it was, but a group of people at a workplace bought lottery tickets together, and at the last one, the guy was reading off, and they won, and everybody was yelling and cheering and excited, only to find out that he had read the numbers from the previous reading.
Oh,
So,
no.
you know, if it's just excitement, hey, you know, it doesn't matter whether you win or not. It's
But it's just crazy, though, the
It's the
frenzy that's
idea.
going on. Well, folks, stay tuned for 7 o'clock. We've got Brian Glenn coming on with the DFW Business Authority. Brian's always got very high-quality guests that come on his show to provide you with insight on business in the DFW area, and always highly entertaining. We like to listen to him on our way back to work, in fact. And so stay tuned for that at 7 o'clock this morning. But tune in with us tomorrow. We've got a very packed day tomorrow. We've got our hero of the week. She is a juvenile probation officer up in Collin County, and you're going to love what she does for kids around the holidays, and has done it on her own, and has in fact grown a huge following of supporters. And so you want to tune in for that tomorrow. That is brought to you by Barnes Waste Disposal. Also, you want to tune in because we have our chef back on tomorrow. He is back from vacation and from skiing. Of course, his busiest time is Christmas, when he's out doing all of that holiday catering. And so Jordan Swim will be with us tomorrow to give us a wonderful cooking tip that we can use with our family and our kiddos. Also, family freebies. I have sharpened the sword, and Dr. Bateman and I are going to duel right here in studio. Yeah. Nobody was here.
Y'all are horrible. Would I really be the only one that would be here?
Callie would be the only one that would be here.
Callie would be here.
So, and then folks, also don't forget, tomorrow we give our family 4-pack away to Legoland. You're going to call in at 214-787-1160.
214-787-1160.
Be the 10th caller at 6:28 a.m. Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Well, I don't see how we talked about gambling per se.